All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll get our meeting. I'll call the meeting to order, and Miss Willie's going to do our pledge, and Miss Lori is going to do our invocation. So if everybody rise, please remove your hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come tonight just one more time, just thanking you, Lord, for everything you've done for us. Lord, we ask that you come into this gathering. Lord, we ask that you allow us to do things decent and in order. Then, Father, we just thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross. Lord, we just ask that you let us go back to our many different destinations and be safe in doing so, Lord. We just love you tonight, and we claim the victory tonight in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, ladies. All right. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Ms. Knowles?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mayor White?
Here.
Ms. Alderson?
Here.
Ms. Johnson? Here.
Everybody's present. Thank y'all. All right. Before we get started, I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules to move items 11C through 11H to after 6C. I would also like to add a new item to new business, determination of the Mount Pleasant certified tax rate to be heard between those items and the public hearing to consider exceeding the certified tax rate. So I spoke about this Thursday night, how we would move these nonprofits up prior to the portion when we do go into the budget so that we can vote on those as well and have everything together at the same time. So any questions from anybody on that before I get a second on that motion? Hearing none, entertain a second.
Second.
Got a number of seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all. All right. Approval and correction of minutes from prior meetings. Study session of May the 14th and the regular meeting of May the 19th. You've had a chance to review those. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the study session of May 14th and the regular meeting on May 19th.
Got a motion? We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Board's presentations and appointments. Mayor's appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have 3 open spots as of right now. 2 of them we have filled by current members. Those are Terry Brewer and Lisa Cole. We have contacted another appointee possibly, and hopefully we do get that answer very quickly. So entertain a motion to approve those 2 folks that are already serving on it and would like to continue.
Motion, Mayor, to approve your appointments as presented.
Got a motion? Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Ordinance 2026-1140. This is the final reading. An ordinance to amend Title 18 of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code relating to sewer use by repealing Chapter 2 in its entirety. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong one. I'm reading off of the prior minutes.
I know we got which one you said just moving anyway.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, me, you know what I need to do right now?
Yeah.
I need to get rid of those.
And then go all the way to page 4.
All right. Ordinance 2026-1144 amendment to the 2025-2026 budget. This is a public hearing and the final reading. Corey, anything you want to add to this?
Not for this year's budget.
Okay. Any questions from any members of the commission? Hearing none. This is a public hearing. Would anybody like to speak?
Do you
Please
need,
let the.
do you need to hear from Shifra?
This is this year's.
This is a New Year's, but that one we're.
No,
The old one.
the old one, 25-26.
Never mind. They've already spent that much.
Yeah.
Last year, but yours.
All right, one more time.
So I'm just gonna go over the notes there. Are
Yes,
attached to
please.
The agenda. The main changes are, completion of the community center grant. So we had some transfer of funds there to make sure that the contractor kept moving along with the delays again from the state on the, reimbursements. So the project's moving along, and then winter burn expenses, all the expenses and overtime and everything that we had to pay through the storms, that was absorbed within the existing budgets of the departments. And then no changes were made through the fund balance. All costs were managed within the fund balance, or within the costs of each department. Y'all had any questions on last year's budget? So this is just trying to get ready to close the books out for this year.
Appreciate what y'all done.
Yep.
You.
Any questions on that?
No,
Again,
sir.
this is 2526. Hearing none, nobody cared to speak, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 2026-1144.
We got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, B. Determination of Mount Pleasant certified tax rate.
So,
And we received this from the county and our certified tax rate is 124.26. Corey?
so as y'all know, we talked about it last time, but this is a reappraisal year in Murray County. So when the property values are increased, that also increases taxes. So to keep that from happening, the city is supposed to adopt the certified tax rate, which is a tax neutral tax rate. As the mayor said, we don't come up with this rate. It's provided to us. One of the requirements is that you have to adopt, or not adopt, you have to determine/acknowledge the certified tax rate. You can just do this by a simple motion and a second. This is not the tax rate that you are approving for your budget. This is just acknowledging that Murray County sent you this number. And as the mayor said, it's 1.2426. And that is the rate that was provided to us. So that's what this item is. It's just to acknowledge that that certified tax rate was provided to you. Yes, sir.
I'm just making a comment.
Okay.
I guess I wish we could go to that number. But I know from Philip and Schiffer, that number is, there's no way to go to that.
And I want to separate the items. I'll go ahead, finish, and then I'll.
No,
jump in.
I might be speaking too soon.
Yeah, so there's 3 different items on this agenda that are all related to the same topic, right? The tax
Yes.
rate. So item B, where we're on right now, is strictly to determine the certified tax rate.
Oh,
The
okay.
it's not, all you're doing is saying, Murray County said that the tax neutral rate is 1.2426.
And we're gonna exceed, okay.
And then the
Okay.
next item.
This is just
This is-
certifying
Yes,
that is
yes,
our,
yes.
And then the
yes.
next item would be a public hearing, because as y'all know and have discussed in detail, that tax rate is insufficient to meet the budget that y'all have discussed thus far. So y'all have, you're considering exceeding that certified tax rate. So the next item C is just a public hearing on whether or not you want to exceed that public tax rate or that certified tax rate. Then the following item D is when you adopt the tax rate and the budget. And we've talked about it, we'll talk about it again when we get there, but the budget and the tax rate are tied together. So if you change one, it changes the other. So we need to be really cognizant about those changes. But this item B is strictly to determine the certified tax rate that was provided to y'all. That's all.
by the county.
Cause she said B, C, and D, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It was-
All right, we'll be there in just a
there
second.
is-
There's a new one in front of
There's a
you.
new one.
There's one on your desk that says if you all had voted to pass
Oh,
the
okay.
change, so that you,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there you go.
Okay.
So, with all of that being said, any questions from the commission? All right, then I'd like to make a motion to officially determine Mount Pleasant certified tax rate at 1.2426.
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing to consider exceeding the certified tax rate. As we discussed on Thursday night, what I'm going to do right quick is run through the nonprofits right quick, so that when we get down to really time to look at certifying, exceeding the certified tax rate. And this is where we move the 11s up, okay?
Mayor, can
Yes.
I interject? So this is still item C, the public hearing only.
Yes,
So they get to-
So it's just to talk about exceeding the tax rate,
Right.
not the,
not the actual,
Yeah, yeah.
right, but what I want to do now is go through what the nonprofits were right quick before we give them an opportunity to speak, please.
okay.
All right. 11C was Resolution 2026-25 nonprofit Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation, Main Street. Previously, the city was donating $25,000. We had made the recommendation at the prior meeting to go to 20,000. And I'd like to let everybody know that under what has happened recently, very recently with that whole foundation and what's going on with that, the director has resigned. That we make no donation to that whatsoever this year. I've talked with the folks at the state of Tennessee today about it as well. They understand kind of what's going on. They don't want to see us lose Main Street. They're concerned about that, but we could always go back in it. I've discussed this with one of the members of the current Ford Foundation board. They understand that, they need a year probably to get this thing squared back away. That gives us a year to sit back and see what it really needs to look like. The Alliance has offered to come down and take over a part of that and continue doing all of the ribbon cuttings, and that they would step in place of that. So,
Mayor, because I know you're in it, what is I guess the difference between, and make sure I say this right, Leadership Murray and Murray Alliance? What is the,
Leadership Murray is a part of Murray Alliance. Most all communities have Leadership Murray. You went through it. You just got through it. Lori, you did it. You hadn't done it.
I'm going to Leadership Middle Tennessee.
That's it.
because they didn't ask her. I thought that was sort
Yeah, I did apply for
of,
it.
that was sort of bad.
They usually just try to take one from each group because they sometimes have two from other companies that apply at the same time. And they usually just take one so that you don't have two out.
Sort of get that, but I guess to me, probably what she's going through is probably better than Leadership Murray.
So
I don't know, I
leadership,
speak at both, but,
Murray Alliance is a nonprofit, but Leadership Murray is a program that they put on. And there's Leadership Murray, every county has their own leadership, then there's Leadership Middle Tennessee, and I think there's a true statewide version
There
as
is.
well. So it's just a way for the people that are in the leadership program to learn about leadership.
yes.
Mhm.
Why do the citizens of Mount Pleasant get tied up into this?
Well, it goes a lot further than that, Mike. If you look at Cherry Glen, they do all of the,
Forget Cherry Glen.
right,
All right,
hard
let's
to,
just go.
look at 400
No,
jobs
no,
we've got out there.
I've said, I appreciate what they've done, at Cherry Glen, and I do. But I just don't know what else the citizens are gaining from Murray Alliance, that they're paying 20,000 to.
It's
This
actually 25, and what they
25.
get is Murray Alliance gets about 30,000 to 35,000 hits daily on their website for what they post out there. Murray Alliance is going to start picking up a lot of what Forward Foundation has been doing, with no additional fees. They're going to be picking up a whole lot of what they're doing. And they have the right people in the right places to make that happen. So you skipped ahead of us just a little bit, but that's Resolution 2026-26, nonprofit Murray Alliance. And last year we gave $25,000, and that's what the recommendation is this year because of the value received. Philip, you want to add anything to that? You work with them very closely as well.
Which one are we talking about?
Murray Alliance.
Can
Make the
Can
state
we-
first.
We need
Yeah,
to
make the state.
we have we skipped the public hearing just to,
I was gonna come back to that after I got a chance to read out the nonprofits.
okay, but we still have to go back and vote on all of those individually.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And that's part of, there'll be two public hearings, one of which is for exceeding the certified tax rate. That's the one we're on right now.
Chair keeps
Sorry.
sinking to the ground.
I know we met, when we changed the agenda, I know it got everybody confused, but
Too heavy.
And
Oh,
we need to do the
thank you,
public
Mike.
hearing.
yes,
We
so
need to do the public hearing.
just to kind of regroup for
All
a
right.
second, if y'all are.
This is now a public hearing. Would anybody care to speak? I spent an hour with them this afternoon making sure we got through this properly, and it's not happening.
Okay,
So, I was confused.
so it's a public hearing on exceeding the tax rate.
Yes,
Yes.
it's just a public hearing on exceeding the tax rate, not the tax rate. So if you don't mind, if you'll state your name and your address, please.
Robert Lacy, 1201 Shackford. I guess my thing with the tax rate ties in with these nonprofits, us giving money. I'm glad to hear we're not giving it to Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation because, like I've stated before, I'm not sure why the city is getting involved in advertising for private businesses. I could spend $500 to say overpriced boutiques, come to Mount Pleasant. The city should not be involved in advertisement for private business. Private business have been advertising for themselves for hundreds of years. As far as the Murray Alliance, I'm kind of with Mr. Davis. I'm not really sure what we're getting from them. But I think if you want to push this higher tax rate, you need to take a real close look at the money that we're handing out to nonprofits. And if you want to go back to the Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation next year, I thought when we discussed this last time that we were talking about $10,000, and now all of a sudden it's back up to $20,000.
No, sir, it's at zero.
Well, it is now, but it was going to be $20,000. And I don't understand what we got for the $25,000 last year. I went to that website. It says 2026 events. The last thing they have on there is the June 6th Touch a Truck. There's nothing on there about Juneteenth. There's nothing on there about music on the porch. So what are we getting for $25,000? That's all I got to say. If you want to raise taxes, then let's look at the money we're giving away.
Thank you, sir. Did anybody else care to speak?
Okay, I signed up to speak, and you're not calling names, so is this something totally different? I'm not certain what's happening.
You got two sheets in front of you, Mayor.
Yes, if you'd like to speak to that, you're welcome
To
to.
that, again, you jumped around so much.
This is the public hearing to exceed the certified tax rate.
Okay, so.
There'll be,
Let's see, there's been a representation that you wanted to do 1.4975.
that will be at the next,
Is that, do I speak on that at the end?
you can speak at both if you would like.
Okay, I'll speak at the end.
Yes,
Okay,
that's probably
there's no
more,
need for me to speak.
it's probably more appropriate this
Appropriate at the
way.
end. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
At the end of, before you vote, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. So there's no need for a vote on the public hearing to consider exceeding the certified tax.
There's not. I think if
Okay.
no one else is here to speak on that item, you close the public hearing and then we go to the next one.
All right. Anyone else care to speak? Please let the record show no one did, please. All right. We've gone through Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation, Murray Alliance. Here again, I know what you
You gotta take a vote on
vote.
it.
I'm sorry. Resolution 2025-26. No donation to the nonprofit Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation. Entertain a motion. 25.
Mayor, I make a motion for $0 to go to nonprofit Mount Pleasant Forward Foundation, Resolution 26-25.
Got a motion? Do we have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11D, Resolution 2026-26, nonprofit Murray Alliance. And here again, I can tell you in the last year alone, that the Murray Alliance has brought in well over $140 million in investments to Cherry Glen, and well over 150 jobs that are starting in the range of $75,000 and going up. And those are jobs that are in Murray County, tax-paying people, and they're flat earning their money. Here again, they have offered to come in and step in because of our decision to not make any future donations into the Forward Foundation, because they said they can take that over. And I would encourage each of you that may have a question about it to go on their website, and you see Mount Pleasant prominently advertised on there. Because if you look outside of GM and Spring Hill, most all of the industrial development has been in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee at Cherry Glen. All of it. So with that being said, any questions from the commission? That being said, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-26, $25,000 to Murray Alliance. Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-27, nonprofit Murray County Regional Airport. Mount Pleasant has done $5,000 a year for the last several years. The airport has an investment out there over the last 2.5 years of well over $16 million. That was all funded through grants, most of it, with the exception of the new terminal. I can tell you that it is growing. We do get property tax from that property. We also, in a long circle back way, we get the tax dollars off of the fuel sold. And in the month of May, there was just over $144,000 in Jet A fuel sold. It is growing. They come to town when they get off those airplanes and they eat, and they go right back out and they get on the planes and fly out. So with that, I'd make the motion on resolution 2026-27 for the $5,000 to the airport. Got a second, Mike?
May I ask something? I
Sure.
guess since the turnover out there, since you're on the board, Mayor, is it running smoothly and everything now?
Excellent. And we picked up more fuel cells than we've ever had. Excellent. Ashley Shane is out there now as airport manager. We picked the freight back up finally because we lost all the freight. And last week we had 16 freight planes flying.
Good.
And that's big money going straight to GM. And the last one hits the ground at 4:30 a.m. because it's got to be on site by 5:30. All right, resolution 2026-28, nonprofit kids
Wait a minute,
club.
we gotta
Oh,
go back to
vote.
11
I'm sorry, I thought we were just reading through them.
I had a motion and a second. We need to vote.
Got a motion and a second.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-28, nonprofit kids place. Was that 750? First year, right, Philip?
1,000, sorry. It's on the resolution. It's 1,000. Keep Murray Beautiful at $750.
I apologize.
$1,000 for Kids Place. This is their second year asking us for
Okay.
funds. Last year was the first.
And it's a great organization as well for what they do for this community.
I wish we could do more for them.
I do too. So entertain a motion for the kids place.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 2026-28.
Got a motion? We have a second. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-29, nonprofit Keep Murray Beautiful. First time, correct?
And that's
$750.
$750, yes.
And Katie, if I remember this, they did a lot for our cleanup.
Yeah, they provided. But to be fair, I think you could probably purchase everything they provided and have it at the city. But I love Keep Murray Beautiful, but just to make it more fair, if money's an issue, it's probably cheaper by some supplies.
All right. I'll be happy to make a motion that we do $750 Keep Murray Beautiful. I mean, they got us help to start this program, and I think we'll continue it. I feel certain we will. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-30, nonprofit Murray County Animal Shelter. Weren't we increasing that to 50?
That has gone to 15,000 is what y'all told me last week.
Right.
Yes.
And we were at 13.
Correct. They requested 20 the last 2 years.
Yes. And here again, I think they do a good job for us. I certainly wouldn't want to be in their shoes. Any questions on that one?
Mayor, I'd just like to say one thing.
Yeah, man.
On the animal shelter, if you ever get a chance, go up there and check them out. It's
Something to see.
It is.
Something to see. All right. Any other questions on this one?
I'll make a motion if you
We got a motion? We have a second.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 2026-30 for the Murray County Animal Shelter.
We got a second.
Second.
Got a number of seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. D, we're back to the regular letters now. Ordinance 2026-1145, budget presentation for the years 2026, 27, and tax rate. Here again, this is a public hearing and final reading. Corey?
I think Shipra can go over the budget. Y'all talked about it before. My only thing, and I'll reiterate it over and over again, is that the tax rate is part of the budget. So if you make changes or have discussion about the tax rate, just understand that it does subsequently change the budget. So you can't do one without the other. So we're changing things together, or you're leaving it the same. So I guess Shipra can go ahead and present the budget as.
Yes, Shifra. Please, ma'am.
Attach the notes. It's the same notes we had in May that we updated. There should be in your packets attached to the resolution, to the ordinance. There is no change in the document that you saw in May. Everything is the same. The document that was presented to you all was a proposed tax rate of 1.4975. Yes.
There is a change. The Main Street goes to 0.
Oh, yes, now that you all voted, since last month, what's in the packet right now is not changed since you all just voted on Main Street. But before I submit it to the state, I will remove Main Street. So it's going to remove $20,000 out of the general fund.
Yes, it's a penny almost.
Our penny is almost 26 and some change now. Yeah. So we've gone up from, I think the year I started here, we were somewhere between 16 and 18,000. And now it's 26 and some change. I can send you all that spreadsheet on that too. Oh, it's on here on my notes. 26,169 is the new penny rate for this year. That's what's in your packet. The only thing I would ask, like Corey said, anything you all change, just put it in a form of motion and clearly explain what the tax rate you want. And if you are going to make any cuts, please put it in a form of motion, because that changes the document I have in front of you and all those changes I make before I send to the state this week. So that's the only thing I ask, like, as you guys go through the discussion process, just make sure that the motion has all the details of what you want changed. And if you have any questions for me.
All right. We were discussing it, Philip, at 149.
1.4975 is the rate.
75. I
Yep.
couldn't remember the last two
Yes.
numbers.
And I can pull up the notes on the. See.
Yeah.
Mayor, I apologize for not being here Thursday for the
Yeah,
study session.
absolutely.
Down and out,
Yeah, that's what Philip said.
down and out.
So this is a public hearing. Do you want to go over some more of this before we
No,
go
I
into the
mean,
public hearing?
I just, like I said, I just need the motion to be detailed. Any changes that are made to the existing document, I just need it. We already have one resolution changing the,
Main Street.
yes, our foundation, and then anything, yeah, just need it in a form of motion.
All right. I know we had some people say they were going to hold their comments till now, so this is a public hearing. So please come forward.
On a phone call, so I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
So I live Katie Martin, 206 South Cherry Street. I don't know. This city has had crazy rates on the citizens on every angle for over a decade. Why it just shouldn't be that lighthearted of a decision to go above the certified tax rate when you're already stepping on our necks with the sewer and everything else. And all these developments, they're supposed to be our savior. When these happen, Mount Pleasant will be saved. Well, why can't we get a new parks director or do our stormwater when the new developments come online and then reassess? I don't understand why we would even, I was so pro stormwater, but when you have people that say, well, we don't even have the ability to make a complaint to the regulatory authorities when there's that obvious SWPPP issue, then I do have a problem with my taxes being raised for that. So I'm like really disappointed in this whole thing, and I've gave it a fair shot, and I'm just gonna let you know that I wouldn't spend other people's money just haphazardly, and I wouldn't just keep giving it to NGOs and saying, well, they do such a great thing because they bring things here, but why do our taxes never go down? It can't just be the lack of residential development. And if it is, let's wait till the 300 plus homes come online and then let's reassess our needs. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Next.
I have a list. Do you have a list?
I see your name on here. Name and address, please, ma'am.
Annette Pomaski, 796 Redwood Circle. Okay, so I just don't understand the certified tax rate is an even keel of what you're already collecting now. And we're already saying that we need more money. And a budget is to, stay within your budget. Why do we already foresee that we need more money? And yes, I heard about the fire truck and this, that, and things happen. But, we're talking about all these jobs and taxes. They're all 7 years. We're not taxing them for 7 years. They're getting all these benefits to come move here with these jobs on our backs, per se. I'm not a huge fan of Maury Alliance. People can sit there and say they're great, this, that, and the other. Yes, they might do some things, but I've heard some other things too, as far as that's concerned. The airport, I've got 747s flying over my home. They eclipse the sun off my property entirely because they are so low. And yes, they do fly at 4 o'clock in the morning. I hear them. So that is not a benefit to me. The other problem is we're the end of the line for this Columbia Water. I have Columbia Water. I'm in Mount Pleasant. I've been paying Mount Pleasant taxes. I have never been officially adopted into the city of Mount Pleasant to receive the services. When all those 1,300 homes on Trotwood get put in, I'm going to have a trickle of water. And I don't think anything is being brought up as far as saving our neighborhood or the people that live on Polk Lane that are Mount Pleasant residents.
Not you, go ahead.
Well, it just, the things that were going to benefit me, the stormwater, the sidewalks in town, yes, I get that. We could do some fundraisers or something, but that should already be in the budget. I'm just saying, a lot of these things, I feel like I'm off on the skirts, and it's like, oh, no. Anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
My name is Joel Rainey. I live at 6740 Polk Lane. So I'll start just saying thank you for your service, community, citizens, and especially in a year like this when, taxes are, you're sort of straddling the fence. You're trying to hopefully minimize the impact to us as citizens, but yet act responsibly to make sure that you move Mount Pleasant as a community forward financially. With that preface, I'd like to suggest that you consider or change the certified tax rate to a new tax rate of 1.369 per hundred instead of 1.4975. That lower rate was discussed at your study session Thursday, so I'm simply supporting it as the best balance of those two criteria. As I understand from those comments, all proposed efforts by Mount Pleasant, plans, efforts, et cetera, for fiscal year 27 can be pursued at the reduced rate. Nothing would be cut. Nothing will have to be discarded or disallowed. I understand that it may mean a deficit and reserve levels need to be protected, but both are very manageable. I, for one, and probably many others, would consider your efforts to sustain all activities at the lower rate to demonstrate your leadership of our community, again, covering costs while closely monitoring the ongoing financial position, which does include the impact of current building, residential and retail, that we have for future assessment. I understand it may require more scrutiny of spending and perhaps a request for an additional tax increase fiscal year 28. Managing the city functions is an annual process, and implementing a tax rate that can cover a 4-year period is not what a readjustment year is meant to be. An incremental approach is preferred and more acceptable to Mount Pleasant citizens. With that said, there was some confusion on percent increases and what all of this represents. The tax assessor did all this for us. 1.2426 was our criteria, was our certified tax rate. Anything you increase above is a increase in a percentage. So at 1.4975, your increase in tax is 25.5 cents, which is a 20.5% increase. At 1.369, it cuts it in half. It's a 12.64 increase and a 10.2%. So 10.2 being sustainable is what was said on the Thursday night. That would be preferable, no doubt. Further, in 22, if you want to go back and look at the same arithmetic, you increased above the certified rate of 41 cents. 41 cents that year represented 32% increase. 32 and 21, that's 53% in 4 years. So, enough said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thank you for the email.
Yeah, that was
Sorry?
a
Thank you for
nice
the email.
email for a change.
Well, I meant to send it Friday. I started Friday. So anyway.
And you know how it goes up here trying to keep all this stuff straight in the meeting, don't you?
Writing it is like, we're going to have 10 minutes to do this, so maybe I'll give them 30 minutes or something. But anyway, thank you all.
All right, this is a public hearing again. Does anybody else care to speak? Would you please let the minutes show that we don't have anyone else that cares to speak?
Chair. I'm going to take time to speak. I just, I'm on the same sheet.
Thank you. All right. Y'all heard me talk when we were here last Thursday about this. Mr. Rainey, I do appreciate your email, and we spent some time on it this afternoon. We have got to keep a fund balance per our bylaws and through the comptroller. And our concern is if we go to the 136, and I understand what your talk is, and I really truly do, that is probably going to have us go into our fund balance some $200,000 to $300,000 over and above what we expect to. And our bylaws require us to keep that amount of fund balance in place.
It was at the beginning of this year.
At the beginning of the year.
And minimum needed to be 2.1 million. Did I understand that correctly? Or did I?
So the fund balance at the beginning of this year was 3.7 approximately. That's what we started with on our audited financials. We are expecting to close this year on a deficit. Last year we budgeted a $765,000 deficit because we were trying to be aggressive with our paving needs and everything. And we had good to like the growth and the things that we had seen in the last few years. We did have savings from that. So we were offsetting those savings from the prior couple of years into this budget year that we're in right now. So even though this year was a deficit, the gains we had in the prior years, our mindset when we presented the budget last year was kind of will be a break even because we're taking the increases we had in our revenues from prior years, offsetting it with a deficit this year, we're gonna be okay. We did not plan to keep going with a deficit because at the end of the day, the general fund's deficit is what sets our, I gotta come up with the right word, our bond ratings for
Yes.
our borrowings. So the better your fund balance is, the better interest rate we get when we go out to borrow, which is obviously important. Cities, counties, and government get rated by Moody's and other companies out of New York on the basis of growth, economic development, and our financials. If our financials are in good standing and they see growth in the area, you get rated in the A's. Most of the people around us are AA plus or AAA, which is one of the best rating you could get. We are a AA minus, which is also a great rating, or that's what we were the last time we went to market to do bonds. So anyways, long story short on that, if this year we did not spend every bit of the deficit we budgeted, I'm estimating that we're going to close somewhere between 400,000 in a deficit. Again, we did majority of the paving, but we also didn't complete Montjoy, which is coming back in the budget next year. And we don't spend every dollar that we budget, but we also have to still budget for contingencies. And if any revenue fluctuates, that affects that bottom line too. So with that in mind, we started with 3.7. We have a deficit possibly of 400. I'm not going to know that number. You will have final financials from us in September because we get 60 days to close books after June 30th. But that reduces it down to 3.3. With that, depending on what rate you all approve, whatever the deficit amount is that you say, it keeps going down. Our minimum fund balance policy requires us to retain 30% of that fund balance. That is around 2.2. That is not going to be my recommendation because and I'm not trying to, the bottom line is if something breaks, you can't touch it because you have broken your own policy. And then you have to, I don't know I don't know the process of it. Most places I work for, they have worked for in the past, and it's been government. They usually try to at least maintain that. Most places do more than that because, and you can look at the financials, like everybody wants to compare us to the cities and counties around us. You can look at their fund balances. They maintain more than that because they have AAA ratings, because that's what the people who come in and rate us look at. Again, that's just as growth, if we have to pay streets or we have to borrow money for anything, that's where that comes into play. But like I said, yes, the minimum requirement for us is close to 2.2 million. But again, it's 30% of whatever our expenditure budget is. So if our budgets go up, that amount goes up with it. Again, if something breaks, from what I understand, we can't touch it. That's in our policy because then we have to come up with money from somewhere else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And open to any other questions.
One of the things that we talked about today, because after we sat down and talked at length again. We have aging infrastructure. We have a lot of aging stuff around here. If something happened up on Halon right now, Katie, you brought up the stormwater. All that fell in because it's, as I think as all of us sitting at this table know, it could happen tomorrow. And it could. And we've got to be prepared if we had another something go out somewhere that's another $750,000, and it can happen in a community this size with aging infrastructure. So then all of a sudden we've dug in deeper than what we should do, and then the next thing you know, you've got the comptroller coming after you about, well, why are you doing this? And that's one of my concerns about going much lower. I'll just tell you, that fund balance is what's sitting there in case the devil breaks loose and we got to get to work quick. I used Fern today. We got very fortunate that storm did not turn out being any worse than it did. If it had been as bad as it was in Nashville and some other areas, I can assure you that $20,000 that we spent would have been times 10 minimum. And we're hearing that from other communities every day now. So that's really all I've got to say about it. I did my talk on it Thursday night, kind of tried to go through everything. I've done my cuts where I think they should be after hearing some of y'all's comments on Thursday night and then all year about what you thought about some of the particular things. But so I'll open the floor to the commissioners. All right.
I know people are going in front of Bobby and his people right now trying to get their property values lowered. And Philip, correct me if I'm wrong, we won't know what those are until what, October?
you don't get the tax roll from the state till October.
That's what I'm saying, so I mean, you know, we're going right now at what the houses are priced for right now. But it could be a big difference come October.
Sure good.
So we presented the budget in front of you with expected revenues and expected expenditures. So it's a structurally balanced budget right now. That's what you have in front of you at 149 with the current expenditures, and also, like everybody talked about, through planning and years, the stormwater, parks, capital projects, seniors, those things are the added new programs that we've talked about, not overnight, so over time. So at the current rate, it is a structurally balanced budget. Expected revenues versus expenditures. You're exactly right. Those revenues could be down, which means our expenditures either go down or we dip into fund balance to carry out that program. I said Thursday night, we can approve this budget at 1,369, and that's going to a $300,000 deficit, which is not structurally balanced, which means that we are going to take normal operating and go into our fund balance through that. I don't recommend that, but we don't have to make any cuts if you approve that. I don't recommend that because, again, like everybody's saying, I feel like it's kind of dangerous, but then again, I get what everybody's saying too. So you guys have a hard decision to make, but it's kind of where we're at with it.
I hate to get back on downtown revitalization, which is good. It looks nice. But we're roughly paying $89,000 a year for that. Plus, if we ever find out for sure about the light pole, you know, for the pedestrian and the signal light, is that additional $4,000 a month, or is that?
What we have budgeted, I need to reach out to Denise because she had sent me a spreadsheet, and I need to just check with her and make sure that what number she sent me, is that still gonna apply? Because what they're sending has been a little bit higher. But again, that does not affect, it's not in the fund, it's not in the general fund, it's in state street aid.
State Street.
So this fund itself does not,
It's
correct. That's, all of their streetlights are paid with state street aid funds, which are state taxes that we receive on a monthly basis. We moved Montjoy in there, so the state street aid this year, we have Montjoy for 114,000 in there, and we have 120,000 budgeted for our lights.
What happens if you don't have enough money coming into the street?
We've budgeted the estimate based on what the state gave us. Now, it is lower than last year, like we went over in May.
But I mean, if something happened, you would have to take some out of the general fund to make it up if something happens.
There are certain rules around what transfers I can make and not make. I cannot transfer taxpayer dollars to the state street aid fund.
Okay.
I can charge expenses, like we moved Montjoy, because you can use those funds for paving. So when we have built, now that downtown is almost complete, we had enough funds in there that we could move one street over. So we've gotten our street lights in there, we've got that, and we have the multimodal grant budget in there, so the match for that grant is coming out of there. But I can move expenditures there, but I cannot, certain expenditure that qualify under those strict, whatever the rules are behind the state street aid. You can't use it for, I can't use it for police or fire stuff. I have to use it for certain street expenses. So we can move stuff there, we move it over there when we have availability. But no, it's budgeted on the basis of the estimates we received from the state, which was $180, but that's state street aid revenue per person, and that's split between general and state street aid. A portion of it is, and I have my spreadsheet, I could pull it up if you needed to, but it's a portion of it goes to state street aid.
Let's say if it went down to 136.9, and we know there may be a shortfall, correct?
Yes.
And we're saying here, as commissioners, we know that. But we may, come July of next year, we may have to add 2% or whatever to it. Would that?
Or cut services, one or the other. Yes, because if you approve it at 136, it would be in a $300,000 deficit that we will spend because of the vision and the mission that you set in front of us. So yes, you would be in the fund balance, and we would need to come back more than likely above the 30%. Based off of expected revenues and expenditures. So it's a.
So if not raised this year, at that rate, be raised next.
You can only vote on tax rate during budget.
Right, I know that, but
Okay,
I'm just saying, you know, looking, ahead come next July, if it is, you know, we as commissioner can say we're having a 2%. And I'm not so sure that's what should be done every year instead of waiting to the 4 years. It's just a hard decision.
It is a hard
There
decision,
you
and we don't take it lightly. Never have.
No.
So it's a hard
And
decision.
I appreciate what y'all do.
Mhm.
Are there items from the budget that y'all need to discuss as part of the conversation?
I mean, what's in the budget,
We need.
You need.
that's, you know, if you take from this and somebody's gonna be mad because you took from this. You know. I just hate to know that our tax rate is like it is. I know it made a big difference on me, and I'm sure it did a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting a raise every year.
Boy,
It is what he said, a big decision. We did spend lots of time coming up with a strategic plan and things that we wanted to see done in our community. I still want to see those things done. We can't do it without a budget.
right. We worked hard on a strategic plan, and I want to see it get there.
I've heard before, we got to stop kicking the can down the road and do something about it. We got a nice community center over there. We need a parks director. We need a fire truck. We need street fix. We need, and the way we're gonna get it is we gotta bite the bullet. So, and Philip, you're our city manager, and I trust you to the fullness. So, you know what we need. So, you know, if you think that it's got to be the 1.4975, then to keep us above water.
And you'll structurally balance your budget at 1.49 is what I'm saying. Also, what I'm saying is said it before, if you want to fix it, we'll fix it. I mean, that's kind of why I'm sitting here, because I've lived here a long time too, and I want to see us fix it. So it's, again,
Keep
I'm not
kicking the
taking it
can.
lightly. It's a hard decision to make, but if you want to fix it, fix it.
Ms. Pam?
Well, I said a lot Thursday night too. All of our taxes probably went up. I know some people didn't, but mine sure did. But since the day I moved here and started talking to people, all I've heard is how things just got kicked down the can, and it doesn't get done. And we finally are in a position with some of the best staff we could probably have ever had in the history of this town. And knowing them and their conservative numbers and the way that they process what we need and the thought and detail that goes into every single thing that they present to us, and their willingness to listen to you guys, and there's not a wealthy person up here. None of us have any more money than anybody else in town. So we're all going to have to deal with an increased tax rate. But there's no way that we can do what we agreed to do in our strategic planning meeting that was the best thing for the city and get the ball rolling on the things that have to happen unless we adopt the rate that we agreed to.
Like you said, you want.
Yeah, I guess, you know, when she brought up about the community center, I'm thankful we got the community center. But I don't think we as a whole don't realize how much money goes to that community center every year. And that's why when they come up about the library, that community center would have been a perfect place and it would have helped us out. But it didn't happen. It would have saved us some money. But y'all know yourself, a lot of the community center in the past was like a daycare. After school place, going to hang out. And the citizens are paying a lot of money. Just my opinion.
Anybody else got anything? I'm gonna have to reiterate what Lori said, Miss Willie and Pam, I'm not tickled with this, but we have a certain need without question for stormwater. My concern is if we have something big break and we're already going below what it calls for us to be at, and we have to go into it even deeper, that concerns me. And we've had that happen year after year after year. That didn't just happen one year. I'm all for a balanced budget that does it. And I completely understand it's not gonna make some people happy. Mr. Rainey, you probably sent me one of the best emails I've had, and thank you. My concern is if we go to 136, we're gonna be looking at coming right back in here next year and going right back up again.
Dan, just, we're in a growth mode. Homes being built, retail, we have other money
That's
that
right.
potentially come in. Just being diligent with it at the current time allows us to adopt those additional revenues. And then if they don't come in, if they don't, 12 months from now, absolutely, I don't run my household on a deficit.
No, that's what I said to somebody.
3.7 minus 4 is 3.3, a minimum 2.1. We're 50% over what we need to be. Okay, so there's a buffer, is what I'm saying. Not that I don't want to go from 3.3 to 2.1, but we have an opportunity to have another deficit here. If it happens, then respond to it, okay? Rather than trying to take it all at one fight, okay? I think that gives a great balance to what is
Well, that's one reason we're looking at this increase, because we had a deficit last year. And, it's tough, guys. Y'all don't know how many hours that these folks have worked on this, and I have as well as everybody up here, I know. And we're talking about, yes, we've got growth coming in, okay? But the reality of that growth is that growth we won't see for another 3 to 4 years. I mean, they're not going to come in here and build 400 houses tomorrow. And the way the projects are going today, the costs are increased that they're dealing with every single day, just like we are, and everybody in this room is. It's not going to happen tomorrow. And it's not going to happen in this budget year. We're just not going to see it because they can't build those houses that quick. Tractor Supply, if they do, we looked at that closely today. Quite closely. Somebody told us that the store in Columbia did 10 million, Philip, 10 million.
Yes, sir. Oh,
And our portion, if it did 10 million, would only be 2.75%, $27,500. That's if it did, and it won't start out doing 10 million. And I'm sorry, if the one in Columbia is doing 10, I don't see Mount Pleasant doing 10. I'm just being frank.
275.
we would shift tax money from the right.
Maybe we should.
So I think there's been a lot of discussion about the tax rate, obviously, because that's what you're exceeding. But again, it ties to the budget. The 1.4975 is what balances the budget. It's where what goes out, what comes in are projected to be the same, right? So, and then we've had people propose this 1.36. The certified tax rate is 1.2426. There's a lot of numbers in between those things. If there's a deficit you are comfortable with, or if there's items that you don't want to do, that's, I think, a more meaningful discussion than just what the certified number ought to be. And I know that staff has tried to come up with, proposals based off of different things that they've heard, but your 1.4975 is a balanced budget. But y'all set the tax rate and you set the budget. So you're not really married to any of that until you set this budget. I guess it's,
I understand all of that, but still, when I look at the United States of America, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, and we're only worried about 300,000?
We got debt outside of what we would wind up being with the deficit. Got a sewer facility, you got, I can keep going on and on.
Well, the sewer it's a different entity. It's
It
on
is, but
it's
it's
on
still-
its own.
But it still falls under the total city's budget as it comes back through water sewer.
The debt schedule is part of the ordinance, so that's a requirement, so it's in there,
Yes.
how much debt, but yeah.
Yes.
I'll make a motion if you want.
And that's the
Yeah.
only 1.36.
Mr. Chair,
The 303 is on the 1.36.
since I passed up them up. Very, very brief.
Yes, sir.
One, it probably doesn't affect. One thing that everybody needs to be mindful of, structure, is once you go up, no mechanism sets the rate. So anything that you can do incrementally in small steps allows you to be in a position of only approving what needs to be approved. You make a big jump, that jump sets your new floor. All you have to do is stay at that level. In the future, the equalization says we'll suggest a tax rate to you that will just keep your revenues the same. Well, if you found out that your revenues are too high, likely you don't have any mechanism to bring them down. No state mechanism back down. So making big jumps, permanent. Instead of taking small steps.
Okay,
Just
thank you. Pam, you
Yes.
said you,
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve ordinance 2026-1145, the budget and tax rate as presented.
and that is 1 point.
1.4975.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Got a second. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Knowles? Mr. Davis?
No, because I think we could do a 2% next year. We'd be fine. My answer is no.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Ms. Alderson?
yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
All right.
Those 3 yeses.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank everybody for their discussion. I know we didn't make all of you happy, but please understand we're working towards a balanced budget. But I do appreciate your comment and the way in which you handled yourself. I certainly appreciate it. Monthly report from Mayor. I don't really have anything other than Lori, what you got going on this weekend.
Music on the board.
Music on the Porch is Saturday night right down here, and Lori's got,
Juneteenth.
you want to talk about that right now? I'll let you take that part right quick. How's that?
The city of Mount Pleasant will be having a Juneteenth event on Gardenia Park on Friday the 19th, starting at 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock. We have food trucks. Everyone is invited to come. We'll have different vendors as well as resources that will be helpful to our community. We will also have a speaker that's going to tell us what the meaning is of Juneteenth. So everyone will be educated, as well as master musician Cord Martin to play. We will also be playing a Family Feud game. We got quite a few teams that have signed up. We'll have a kid zone, lots of things. So we just ask that you come out and support. This event this year is bigger and we hope it's better. So we're praying that it doesn't rain and that it's going to be a joyous occasion for everyone.
All right. Lori, thank you. I don't have anything else. Monthly financial budget report, May financials, Ms. Schiffer.
We are in the process of starting our audit already, getting the budget submitted to the state, get the audit done. I'm trying to. But if you all have any questions for me during the budget process, we've gone over all of it. We've gone through the budget amendment. I will have a more detailed report in July when we get closer to closing the books, but probably the final, like I said, the final reports on this fiscal year, we usually present them between August and September, but we are pretty much, like I said, getting ready to close the books and get ready for the audit. That's where we are right now in the finance office mainly. Open to any questions if you all have any.
All right. Any questions for Shipper? Not entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the monthly financial budget report as presented.
Have a second?
Okay.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly report from city manager. Philip?
Mayor and Commissioner, I'm gonna skip over the Juneteenth because you said a lot better than I would have. So, I'll skip over that one. We do have hydrant flushing starting this week, so we put out some text with that. So just know that we got a third party in here doing our flows and the flushing. Skip over Juneteenth, but don't forget about July 3rd before we meet again. The fireworks at the community center. There'll be more to come out about that. Food trucks, music, activities leading up to the fireworks show. I want to offer congratulations to Officer Trevor Roberts, who graduates from the Police Academy Friday. And that's 12 weeks, Michael. 12 weeks he's completing of that
Right.
program. So Michael will be there Friday at his graduation. And then lastly, I always like to do an employee spotlight, which is on the second page this month, is Miss Brittany Bowling. She started part-time in 2021. Her dedication and genuine care for the community quickly set her apart. So in 2024, she was promoted to customer lead service representative. So that's her employee spotlight of the month. And that's all I have for my report.
And she is pleasant as she can be around.
Yeah.
All right, new business. Ordinance 2026-1141, zoning, first reading, an ordinance repealing and replacing title.
You skipped the wastewater and the gas.
Oh, I thought you said that was all you had. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry about that. And it's very brief, if you want me to go ahead and go into it.
Yes, please.
So wastewater liaison, staff was with Barge last week, working out minor issues at the wastewater treatment plant. That's all I have on that report. And then gas is the same thing. We're still under review process for that high pressure gate station in
pressure
Shagley.
gate. Yes.
So apologize for that.
Any questions, Philip, on those two? New business, ordinance 2026-1141, zoning, first reading, an ordinance repealing and replacing Title 14, zoning and land use control, Chapter 2, zoning ordinance of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code. Corey?
The purpose of this ordinance is to repeal and replace the existing zoning ordinance. It is a total repeal and replacement, but there's only a few itemized, like real changes that are not just changes in the numbers. So I'll go through those. We are adding a section related to annexation, adding a section for creating a new residential district for large lot residential and agriculture, adding a new section creating a planned unit development overlay district. We are amending the R1 low density residential to allow accessory dwelling units as permitted in the R1 zone. We're amending the section for R3 high density residential by amending the description of the R3 zone to better reflect the city's desires for that district. We are amending light industrial by removing certain permitted uses and moving those to make them more distinct from heavy industrial. We are adding updated fees for annexation and for the PUD applications. And we are, of course, amending the reference corrections, internal citations throughout. We are also updating the numbering to include the new sections. And also, if this makes it to a second reading, the numbers will be completely different because they will want it to get out of Appendix B. If you ever look on the website, the zoning ordinance is in Appendix B instead of like within the body of the ordinance. And so we found out how to fix that problem. So I've been over these several times. I've tried to answer y'all's questions about the items that were that had plenty of comments on them. I'm here to answer more questions if you have any. Yes, sir.
I guess this is a good thing that we're doing. But when somebody comes in and buys land, we know this in the very beginning, they gotta move a mountain. Can it be known this mountain can't be blasted? Can't build houses on this hill? We're sorry. If you can't get water and sewer up there, we're sorry. We're not gonna have, we need to be careful on this. And I know there's a lot of times we don't have no control over it. But if we have it in the very beginning, you know, this property,
So the only time blasting comes up at all with y'all, because you don't regulate it, you don't give permits for it, you don't have any control over that. The only time it ever crosses anyone's desk is as part of construction plans, part of a grading plan that's part of the construction drawings that would go before the planning director. But that's not something that's in this zoning ordinance at all.
and there's nothing like that you could put in there.
Let me ask you a question, Corey, and it's related to what you're saying. All right. And this is the way I understand all of this. Anything like that would still have to come before the full commission if it were outside of what these rules call for, correct?
Blasting's never going to come in front of this commission.
Gotcha.
Or Chris or anyone. You know, it's going, it gets a state fire marshal permit.
I understand that, but if when we regulate something and we say this property is on R1 and R2 or whatever, you know, but this property cannot be blasted. If you can't make R2 and R3 on this property, we're sorry. And they put some people through the ringer. And we need a better way to regulate it.
I mean, this is like we've talked about before, a complex topic, but
But if somebody, Corey, comes in with R2 and they say, here, we're gonna put R3 right here. Oh, no, sir, you can't, because we already got it wrote down right here, R2. You can't put R3.
so but
I mean,
what does that have to do with blasting? So if this changed the text to the zoning
I
ordinance.
understand, Corey, but you as an attorney, and I don't know how to say this politely, I don't mean no derogatory to you. Yes. But to me, I just feel like we're not helping our citizens. We're just saying to them, no, we can blast and there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe we can. But it just looks like to me there's some things that could go into the zoning that regulates blasting. You know, if you got a blast, no homes will be built here. I'm sorry, it'll be agriculture from now on. That's just my opinion.
And I don't think we can control that at all.
Like I said, this is not an easy topic. It's something that I've looked into, I'm continuing to look into. It's not something that's in this current proposal. If we find anything that we would like to suggest, we can put it back before the planning commission as a different amendment. As my understanding right now, all blasting permits come from the state fire marshal. The city does control zoning, but our zoning ordinance as drafted before, as current or now, doesn't like have it in any zones. You know, it's just an element of development that would be part of a grading plan.
But it's just hard for me to believe that you can't put maybe that's an answer for somebody up a little bit higher, but you can't put an ordinance or resolution saying, you know, no homes will be built in the city limits of Mount Pleasant around a subdivision in 300, 400 yards. There is no blasting that can be done.
to my knowledge, that is not something we can do. I'm not saying it's impossible. I will look at it, but that is not in the current draft that's already been through the
I
planning
know it's
commission.
not, I know it's not in the current draft.
There has been a lot of discussion about this, and I'm gonna borrow a good friend of mine's comments on that is call your state representative, because it gets to that level, because it is a state level requirement. And make your feelings known about how you feel about the blasting, because that comes from the state level. And I would highly recommend you call our state representative.
He does,
You're exactly right.
he does not answer, he does not return phone calls or emails.
Same representatives. Correct.
The contractor will have to do that. But my point is the state doesn't have, the state has the control over that because it's at their level, it's not at ours.
But that's what gets me about Mount Pleasant. You take the mountain out here by the airport, everything like it. Well, I'm sorry, citizens of Mount Pleasant, we can't do nothing about it. It's above our head. Everything is always above our head.
Every community this size deals with it.
Can I ask you
We got
this?
laws we have to go by. We can't just go do whatever we want to do either. Well, that's the truth.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
It could be something in, as you keep researching.
Yep.
If we find something that we can
We can go back
institute,
and
we
edit
can add that to our
Go back
planning
and amend
process. We can
Yes,
amend
you
it.
could,
Right.
you can do another.
So that's something that, so we can go ahead and pass what we have now.
Because it is the first reading.
Right, it's first reading, and then we can continue our research, and if we find something that will allow us to have some
You
jurisdiction
go
over
back
it,
and amend
then we
it.
can amend it.
Right.
As a separate process, not like on
Right.
second reading, because it'd have to go back to the
Right, but
planning
we
commission.
could, we could still add that after it all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And again, that's, I'm not trying to be coy or evasive. This is
No.
not a simple answer. And yeah, it's,
I just
There are
hope the
certain-
citizens of Mount Pleasant really thanks this commission for what they're doing. And I hope they feel that way. You can laugh.
I'm not laughing, Mike. Don't talk to me. You better go on.
I ain't gotta go
Well,
nowhere.
don't talk to me.
I ain't gotta go nowhere.
Well, you been running. Better run on out of here.
I just think from our,
Order,
From
please. Order, please.
from the city's point of view, there are certain things that are definitely within your jurisdiction. General zoning is one of those. That's what we're talking about today. And again,
Out of here.
well, like I said, I'll be happy to continue I'm
Please.
continuing looking at it anyways. I'll put something, I've talked to each of you individually about this, sending emails.
Perfect.
So
And
I will
keep doing some
looking at
research
and
on it.
As the planning commission has discussed, it is a comprehensive repeal and replace of the zoning ordinance, but it doesn't address every section.
Right.
So as other things come up that we want to address, they can go through those one at a time.
And that's what we've discussed with John's on the planning commission. That's what we've discussed with him. This thing is over 10 years old right now. It starts needing some updates, and this was the first one they tackled. And so we're going to get there over time. So
Well,
Corey, I think you got kind of your marching order, so to speak, in that you'll keep looking at this over
Right.
the next 30 days, and we could go ahead and move forward with the first reading on this.
Right.
Yes.
All right, that being said, any other comments on this?
No, sir.
You want to take commission or citizen comments, even though it's first reading?
I'll be happy to, because I know Mr. Bork's probably here to cover it.
Or
Bork, I'm sorry, I mispronounce it every time,
You do.
but I try.
You recognize it after you pronounce it.
That's right.
It's Burke, Mr. Webb.
Burke, I love it.
Okay, you have to watch my time for me.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I am. I'm going to talk to you about the same thing I talked about on Thursday. But this is an easy one. This is an easy one compared to all this other stuff. My name is Lee Burke. I live at 6758 Polk Lane in Mount Pleasant. And I've spoken at nearly every meeting of the City Commission or Planning Commission since the update of the zoning was proposed. My concerns have been focused on one specific question. Why is land use compatibility not included in the list of things to be considered when determining whether R3 high density residential zoning is appropriate in a particular location? It's an important question. In a previous meeting, we were given assurance that compatibility with surrounding land uses is, in fact, always a consideration, part of the process. I'm not sure that's correct, but it was the reason that was given for not including that as part of the criteria for R3. I put a simple question to you on Thursday. If everyone believes and accepts that compatibility with surrounding land uses should be, and already is for that matter, considered in the approval process, why intentionally exclude it from the list of the other part of the list of evaluation criteria for R3? Why is that one being excluded when that's the appropriate place for it to be and everybody says it's already part of the process? So why leave it out? There's got to be a reason for that. If you review compatibility with surrounding land uses as an appropriate criteria that is debatedly already part of the process, why not include it? Do you not want the nature of surrounding neighborhoods considered in a zoning decision? Do you not want surrounding land uses, surrounding neighborhoods as part of that zoning decision? I would like an answer to that. We've talked around it and I haven't heard anybody give a good answer for that. And I think with all the effort we put into it, that we deserve an answer. And I'd appreciate if someone would speak to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish I could.
Well, that gives Corey, we've got another reading on it, so Corey, if you'll kind of look into that.
And
There's not the email.
I have, and the very condensed version is the description of the zones. It's just that, it's a description of the property. Every time that a rezone comes before the planning commission or this commission, then the 4 factors, the orange cards, the number will change. Those are applied. Number 1 on there is in agreement with the land use plan. Mr. Burke cited last time that we don't have a land use plan. We use Murray County's land use plan. Murray County is in the process of adopting a new one, at which time we will see if we want to adopt the new one or if we want to, make our own by piggybacking off of that. Also, the word compatible tends to be a very subjective word. And that's another reason that the planners, and I can't speak for the planning commission, but we did not put that in the drafts. We did on one of the sections that the planning commission had to pick from, and they didn't choose that one. And I think one of the reasons is because it is a subjective word. What is compatible to me might mean the architecture of something. And the example that was given, like my house, I'm the only house on my street that is a single family house. All the other ones around me are multifamily. They're duplexes, or used to be 4 in one house, different. They're all multifamily uses. They would all be a different zone, but they all look alike. You can't tell from the outside that they are different. So that can be compatible. Also, the use could be compatible or incompatible. So actually trying to take away the subjectivity, which has been the criticism of the planning commission in this work. So at the end of the day, this is y'all's zoning ordinance. It's something that y'all will have to follow. The planning commission made a recommendation. I submitted all 3 of the considerations that the planning commission looked at to y'all, because you can change that text if that's something you want to do. It's not my zoning ordinance, it's y'all's. So the recommendation from the planning commission was what was in there. Like I said, if you want to take his suggestion, that's within your purview. But that would be the explanation, is that the land use plan is taken into consideration every time there's a rezone. In practicality, y'all always talk about what is surrounding each one as well. But compatible is a subjective word. That's that is my analysis, but again, this is y'all's, and you can adopt your own analysis here.
Anything else from the commissioner?
Mm-mm.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance 2026-1141, zoning ordinance repealing and replacing Title 14, zoning and land use control, Chapter 2, zoning ordinance of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No,
Roll call.
Yeah.
Ms. Knowles?
Yeah.
Senator Davis?
No.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Ms. Alderson?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
4 yeses, 1 no.
Thank you. Resolution 2026-24, resolution requesting the Murray County Election Commission to conduct an election within the corporate boundaries of the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee on Tuesday, November the 3rd of 2026 to elect 2 commissioners pursuant to the election laws of the state of Tennessee. Corey, anything you want to do? That one's pretty much self-explanatory.
That's right. Asking for them to conduct the election.
Yeah. Just asking for them to do
Need
the
a
election.
motion.
Need a motion,
I
please.
make a motion to accept resolution 2026-24 as presented.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Now we're gonna get into all those that got all mixed up earlier. Resolution 2026-31, high spending vendor list. Philip?
You want to refer to Shipper? She put it together.
Part of our just internal controls type thing, I just give you all this list in June usually, so you are aware of companies that we spend above and beyond $25,000, since our purchasing policy says, we usually bid out anything more than $25,000. Most of these companies are either the only company that exists in town that we can get supplies from, and it's more economical for our people to go there, or it is items that are continuation of services. Could have been items that were on state contracts. If you have any questions, open to answering. Me and Philip, one of us, can definitely answer. But just get this list in front of you all, because these are all the vendors that we do surpass. Consolidated Pipe and some of the ones like Ferguson Waterworks, those are like sole source type of people that we get all of our meters from. So that's why they're really, really high on there. We're in the middle of the residential water meter change out, so all of our supplies are coming from those 2 vendors. So those are really high compared to some of the other ones.
Any questions of Shipper? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion we accept resolution 2026-31.
Got a motion? Do we have a second? Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Resolution 2026-33, downtown grant anticipation extension.
This is our second extension that we're asking for the comptroller's office to give us on the downtown project. I actually had a productive phone call, which would come up later as an agenda item later, with the state, TDOT and GNRC, which is a Greater Nashville Roadway Commission, on Friday. And anyways, it's just, there's so much red tape around how these federal, because this grant was not just local funds, there was local, state, and federal funds. So every time we do a reimbursement request, it has to run through us, then it goes to the state, then the state sends it to federal has to approve it, send it back, then it comes to us. There's almost like 6 different steps that happen. So we were still waiting for a reimbursement that came in last week for February. If I submit we are on the last pay app. The change order, that one's in the agenda, is the last change order for this project. But once we get all this closed out, I'm assuming I'm not gonna have my last check from them until December. I really hope I'll get it by December, because that's what this extension is saying, is we have $250,000 still left to pay back the general fund. Now, this is a prime example of a downtown project that needed to continue to go on. We borrowed $1 million from the general fund within weeks. We have slowly been returning that money as we've been getting payments, but this is a prime example of what I was saying earlier. If something happens, now if we didn't have this money sitting there for us to transfer, we would have had to stop the contractor from working. We wouldn't have been able to make the payments, because the state took almost 6 to 8 months to pay us one check. And the contractor had a 12-month time frame. And so all that to say, this is one example of why I don't want to dip below a certain amount just because $500,000 or $200,000 sometimes when it comes to projects like these is not enough. We
Okay.
transferred $1,050,000 around this time last year. We have $250,000 left to pay back at this. Already returned the rest of the month funds to the general fund as I've gotten.
All right, any
How much
questions?
more does the state?
The state owes, I think I have it with the change order document. The change order that we are getting right now is for $70,000. The last pay app includes that change order for the contractor. I think the total pay app is 250 something. That is all we have left to pay to the contractor. And then all those invoices go to the state, but we haven't written the final check to the contractor yet till they do the last little items we need them to do.
The tree.
That, after that,
The tree.
the tree being one of them. There's more. Philip has probably got more things that he's been working on with them. But anyways, once we pay all that, the check's clear. We send the statements to the engineering and construction invoices all go to the state. So we should get 80% of it back. I will email you once the whole project is complete. I've had an ongoing spreadsheet between me and the lady who does some of the grant managing for this with the state. So I'll have that for you all to exactly show where it all ended up. But we should be able to return these funds 100%.
Good. All right, any other questions? Okay. Entertain a motion for 2026-33.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-33 downtown grant extension.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Resolution 2026-34, residential water meter change order. Philip?
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a change order for the construction part or the installation part of the residential meters. It's going from 338,825 to, original was 338,825, it's increasing $4,000 to 343,225. But as discussed the other night, and I pulled where they're at, they've only spent about half of it, but I see what they're doing. It's just the end adjusting change order, so the end result will be a lot less than that. So I think it's for their records and ours as well. So
Okay,
that's what you have in front of you.
any questions on that one? Entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2026-34.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Resolution 2026-35, downtown final change order. The tree in?
So this is just, there's an attachment with the resolution, showing the final quantities. So between the engineers, the contractor, they go through and they do final quantities on where they were over, where they were under. So bottom line came down to 55,349.20 for the contractor. And then because the project has gone a little bit over the time limit, engineers have estimated $15,000. They're probably not going to spend as much if we can close it up pretty quickly, but the goal is to get it closed pretty quickly. But that's the total change order, like I had said, was about 70 something between both of those items. I have talked to the state. They will cover the change order 80%. We will be paying 20%.
Okay, good, good. Any questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-35 downtown change order.
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-36, community center change order.
Mayor and Commissioners, we talked about this Thursday night. The actual list was in your packet. The total change order is $84,523. But as discussed, this is in the contingency, so it's in the budget, and there will be the grant and the matching funds with this. So no new money on this part. It's part of the contingencies of the grant. So
No, you're right.
okay.
Philip did go into this length, and I'm glad to know it's all covered under that, so. Entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2026-36, community center change order as presented.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-37, Polk Lane change order.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a change order from Rogers Group, engineers. We went out there and rode with them. There's several places that the pavement's pretty thick, so this is shoulder stone or rock where they'll come in and pack it down, anywhere from 12 to 24 inches, for the road. The total is $20,000, and, Colliers come in the morning, we're gonna ride out there. Some of them lines look crooked to me,
Yeah.
but, we're gonna look at that in the
Oh,
morning.
so they do have them painted?
They haven't
Yeah,
painted.
but feel like
They
they
look
crooked.
crooked. I like that sound was. They look a little crooked too. But,
I was gonna say they've done a good job.
What does it look
Did you
like?
see the lines?
I was hoping that those guys did a great job standing for coordinating. Final product. This is a little boat lane. Traffic control is great. And plenty of people out there. We're just thumbs up.
Great.
We're about this far from our mailbox.
Oh, all right, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-37 Polk Lane change order.
Got a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Got a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Obligate LSTBG funds to downtown project for 272,925.
So every year we receive STBG funds, which are state appropriate funds. It's like a block grant that the state gives to obligate towards, very strict on what you can do. You can use it for state roads and items here. So we have been obligating the last few years to downtown. These are the funds that are available to us in addition to, they had already put them towards the project, but we have to officially put in our minutes. And I think next month I will be having a resolution. This is the phone call I had with them on Friday. So they wanted us to do it. We had already published the agenda and everything. So we're like, we'll do it. We can get you a minute action on where the commission can appropriate these funds towards downtown. But I will have a resolution for y'all in the July meeting. But these are the additional funds that we just need to say that we appropriate towards downtown. What our grant manager is going to try to do is, once they have reimbursed the final invoice, she's going to see what we have remaining in the budget and go back and see if there's anything that we have paid for that she can maybe go back and submit more paperwork on and get some funds back if we have remaining funds from this budget. So that's why I was saying earlier when you stated like how much should we have left on the project, we should be able to return general fund the 250,000 that's remaining, especially now that she's able to do this. So the states was able to say we had this much that we could obligate more towards the project, and we're going to use it for the last change order and everything. So that helps us. I just need a motion that says that you all are okay with obligating the LSTBG funds in that amount to the downtown project. And then, like I said, I'll have to send them our minutes so they can, because it's year end, they wanted something before June 30th.
We don't have that as a resolution. We still need to vote on
Yes, and that you'll bring a resolution in July.
Next month.
it. Okay.
But they just needed something before June 30th because they're closing their books too. So I said we can get that. That way we can keep the process moving along with the state.
All right.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to keep this project moving along through the STBG funds for 272,925.
So moved.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
That second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Comments from citizens, I think everybody's already spoke. Anybody want to? Yeah, sure, come on.
Katie Martin, 206 South Cherry Street. I appreciate your question about the blasting, and I think it is being misunderstood. What I think Mike Davis was asking is there a way to prevent blasting on the front end?
That's what
I think we all realize you can't regulate it, but your subdivision regulations on your website from 1989, which I'm assuming is current since it's on your website, says that, I think it's Part K, it's on page 13, to preserve the natural beauty and topography of the jurisdictional area and to ensure appropriate development with regard to these natural features. I'm not an intelligent person, but I would assume that that would mean if you have to level a hill, you could say no. Or you could just ask, hey, do we need to level a hill for these houses? And it would be, yes. And then, well, we don't want that here. I think that's pretty simple. And I think that a lot of times it's always, we can't regulate this, we can't regulate that. You don't have to have a, like, just like with the stormwater situation that I've sent all you emails about, and I've received an email back from TDEC and it's under investigation. And I respect the 2 people that email me back on this side. The whole thing is you don't have to have authority to do that. If you see something, you report it to the people who have the authority. I mean, it's not hard. Like, I did it, they responded. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as hard as everybody makes it. And I do respect the people who did take the time to respond to maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Laura, you got anything else you need?
No, I just want you guys to remember that at the museum they have the new book out that's $35 when third turns gold. And Miss Sherry would very much appreciate it if you guys would come up there and get a copy. As well, I want us to be able to remember and keep Mr. Bob Murray in your thoughts and prayers. He's going through a hard time right now. And
That's all you got? Mike?
Oh, I ain't got no football games over and I'll give Willie a hug
Football. What you got?
Tackled him, but I got a touchdown.
Yeah, you got the ball and
I got the ball and a touchdown.
Oh, Lord. You got anything else?
I do not.
Pam? I just want to thank everybody for being here. I'm sorry for some of the confusion with the agenda. The good Lord knows we worked on it hard enough to try to keep it moving through like we did, but it was a crossword puzzle at best at times. So thanks everybody for taking the time to be here. Entertain a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Second. Thank you.
I know it.